Okay, so I want to welcome everyone today to the webinar, the Nowforce webinar on emergency response in challenging urban conditions. We're very honored today to have David Myers, a longtime partner of Nowforce, presenting today. David is a security expert and the CEO of Black Falcon and MPD Systems International. So without further ado, I'm going to hand the mic over to him.
Based on our experience, which we've gained over a period of the past 7 years of managing a large-scale security project in Nigeria's Niger Delta zone, in particular in the state of River State and the city of Port Harcourt, which is a very large metroplex of just over 3 million in population, with the River State of over 9 million in population. So some of the challenges that I will be speaking to you about obviously are related to the projects we've been managing for the past 7 years, many of which are very particular to the developing world, but many similarities can be drawn to some of the developed world cities, and I will point out to those similarities. For a start, if we look at some of the problems that law enforcement, police force in particular, face in large metroplexes, we see quick urban growth with new population bringing in new challenges and changing the urban hotspot map for law enforcement. We look at highly adaptive and sophisticated criminal patterns coming into these cities. Another problem faced by the police force is continuous distrust from the public. Again, specifically in these large metroplexes with a shift of populations. And we look at poor urban infrastructure, anything from lights, powers, communication, and typically in these situations, these type of infrastructures are subject to vandalism. On the other hand, on the infrastructure side for the police force itself, for law enforcement, we look at, in parallel to the growth of population and change in hotspots, we look at the location of the police departments and their proximity to where the problems are, to the hotspots, and we see that with the shift of population and the change in characteristics of neighborhoods, we find that in many cases the police department's actual location is not relevant as it used to be. We look at the shortage of vehicles, poor and non-encrypted communication channels, and problems with personal gear. And if we look at what we said earlier about highly adaptive and sophisticated criminal patterns, we see that there's a major gap there for law enforcement to overcome, together with the lack of training and the personal gear. So we look now at the project in the city of Port Harcourt. We came on board at the end of 2006. At that time, Port Harcourt was considered the world's kidnapping capital. We had high levels of militancy, armed gangs, general lawlessness, with major threat to economical growth, and with a very poor law enforcement capability and infrastructure. We came on board, as I said, at the end of 2006. The first thing we carried out was a detailed threat analysis survey, which included the survey of the law enforcement infrastructure and its capabilities. And we drew up a solution dealing with the build-up of the law enforcement capabilities, training, and the implementation of what we call our security web deployment strategy. The security web solution, which is what we came up with for the city of Port Harcourt, is a multi-layer law enforcement deployment to be controlled through a central command and control, which we call the C4I. On the top left, you see the new deployment of special security checkpoints dealing with the main arteries or roads moving into the metroplex. The second layer is the deployment of the Metro Patrol, the police patrol units. The third one, bottom left, is the spread of the urban surveillance system, the CCTV project covering the Metroplex. And on the fourth, you see the C4I with the combined spread of its resources at the initial stage. All security operations were to be coordinated and from the newly built C4I, the Command and Control Center, acting as the security nerve center for the state and for the Metroplex. As I mentioned, it is the security nerve center for the entire project, providing a clear situational awareness picture 24/7 and responding to various feeds from different sources. The structure of the C4I in 2007, I will start with actually the forces operating under the C4I, which were the police, predominantly the Nigerian police force accounting for about 80% of the personnel, but also the state's special service, Army, Navy, and Air Force. We split the different divisions. The main operational units were the security checkpoints and the Metro Patrol units. We had explosive detection units with their technologies and a K9 unit underneath. We'll go into detail further on. We had the surveillance unit with its urban surveillance unit and with aerostat surveillance systems, an intelligence-led operations unit, and the training unit. Each of the special desks was responsible for various layers. So we had the security checkpoint desk, which you see in the image in front of you. This desk was responsible for monitoring 24/7 the activities of the security forces in the various security checkpoints, communicating with the security checkpoints, and responding to alerts related to the deployment of the security checkpoints. Next, we had the urban surveillance desk, Metro desk, and the Nowforce desk, which replaced the tracking desk, and we will take a look at that one a little further. We come to the Nowforce solution. So back in 2010, we met the Nowforce solution for the first time. And actually, what Nowforce did for us was allow us to add dispatch abilities to the C4I and to help us create the additional information gathering or sensors that we required on ground. So today, within every one of our deployments, if we look at the security checkpoints have Nowforce as an alert system to immediately notify the C4I of any ongoing situation, while the security checkpoints are being monitored 24/7 from the C4I. we depend on the people manning that desk to be alert to what is going on at the security checkpoint by having the Nowforce emergency button at every one of our security checkpoints. We are actually creating that instant alert into the command and control system, therefore drawing the attention of the dispatchers immediately to what is going on so that they can observe that on camera and take the necessary action. Every one of the Metro Patrol units can be monitored 24/7 on the Nowforce system. They operate with tablets in in over 50 vehicles today, and then are able to be dispatched automatically through the Nowforce system to any ongoing security event throughout the city. We use the Nowforce system with many presets. So if we have any security event taking place within the city, we are able to work off the Nowforce system presets. We are able to work with the geofencing, so we can monitor any vehicle or any movement out of an area which is designated for a particular vehicle to be patrolling. And we can look at the analysis of each day's events through Nowforce. Another thing Nowforce brought to the table was, with the ability to now start dispatching our units in a far more effective manner, came the ability to start to respond to accidents and to any other medical emergencies happening throughout the Metroplex. We started with paramedic training, intensive paramedic training for the security forces. We created a paramedic school and are actually today deploying over 50 paramedics throughout the city of Port Harcourt. That alone has helped us a lot with respect from the population, and has dealt in a great manner with the issue of the distrust from the public. So if we continue on, we can see that basically the deployment map of the security web within the city of Port Harcourt today covers the security checkpoints, the deployment of Metro Patrols, the spread of CCTV. Since then, we have added event security, intelligence groups, all of which are combined into our mobile platform of command and control, and that is the Nowforce solution. The ability and our choice of working with Nowforce on this solution was that in West Africa, in particular, the most important or the most available infrastructure is the cellular one. We didn't have any other infrastructure that worked as well for us as the GSM, and so Nowforce presented that opportunity for us. We have already today improved response time in the city of Port Harcourt to any bank robbery, from what was at best 1 hour response time to under 7 minutes response time. I will summarize at this point and maybe hand over to Mike, who actually managed much of the work out there, and see if he has any comments to add to that.